Okay, this is the next part, 10th part of body fluids and their circulation. In this part, we are going to complete the remaining structure of heart, internal structure of heart. I have studied in the ninth part, and in this part, in the ninth part, we have learned structure, difference between right atrium, left atrium, what type of blood is present in right atrium, or left atrium. Right atrium receives blood from which body parts, receives blood from which body parts, through which blood vessels. Okay, we discussed those points in the part 9. Okay, in this part 10, okay, we are going to learn about ventricles, the internal structure of the ventricles. Okay, ventricles are the thick-walled blood pumping chambers. You learned the first point in atria. Atria are the blood receiving chambers. Ventricles are blood pumping chambers. And these are the lower chambers. Ventricles are the lower chambers of our heart. Okay, ventricles are, okay, the chambers. Okay, these are the ventricles. Okay, these are the ventricles which are the lower chambers of our heart. Okay, the first point here, ventricles are thick-walled blood pumping chambers. Thick-walled blood pumping chambers. Okay, if you see the wall here, it is very thick. This is the wall of the ventricle. Atria, I told you the first point in atria that atria are thin-walled. Atria are thin-walled blood receiving chambers. Observe here, they are receiving blood. First point in atria, in the previous part, ninth part. Next, these are pumping blood. Okay, these are pumping blood. Okay, ventricles are blood pumping chambers. How are the walls? Thick wall. Okay, what are they doing? They are pumping blood. And these are the lower chambers. Upper chambers are atria. And they are separated by interventricular septum, IVS. This is the IVS. When I was explaining atria, I told you IAS. Atria are separated by interatrial septum, ventricles are separated by interventricular septum. Okay, the wall is thicker than that of the right ventricle. If you see the walls of if you make a keen observation here, okay, this is the wall of what is this ventricle? Right ventricle. This is right ventricle. What is this one? This is the left ventricle. The wall of the left ventricle is very thick, but the wall of this right, what is the reason? Left ventricle has to pump blood to the distant body. If my left ventricle pumps blood, the blood has to come to my brain as well as my fingers, toes, to every part of the body, even the last part of the body has to receive blood. Okay, ventricle has to pump blood to distant parts of, especially left ventricle. That's why the wall of the left ventricle are thickest among the four chambers of our heart: right atrium, left atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Okay, the thickest walls are, for example, if you see these four, this is the, okay, highest, tallest one. Okay, like that, the thickest walls are found in left ventricle because it has to pump blood to the distant part. Whereas left ventricle pumps blood. Here, observe this one. Right ventricle. Right ventricle is pumping blood to lungs, to the right lung, to the right lung, and to the left lung. Lungs are very close to the heart. Okay, that's why. Okay, it does not require much strength like left ventricle. That is the is why left ventricle has thicker walls. Okay, the wall of the left ventricle is thicker than the wall of the right ventricle. I hope those points are clear. Of the ventricle. For example, this is the one ventricle. This is the inner surface of the inner surface of the ventricle is raised like this. It's smooth. The inner surface of the ventricles is raised into muscular ridges, and these are our muscular ridges are columns. Okay, the inner surface of the ventricle is raised into muscular ridges. Okay, muscular ridges or column, and these are called columnae cornae or trabeculae. Okay, columnae cornea or trabeculae. They are projecting from the inner walls of the ventricle. The inner surface of the ventricle into ridges columns called columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae. Columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae. What are columnae cornae? The inner surface of the ventricles. I am drawing again here one ventricle here. The inner surface of the ventricle is raised for like is raised. The inner ventricle is raised. Observe here, raised. Raise your hand. Raised into a muscular ridges or columns. These are called columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae. Columnae cornae or trabeculae cornae, and projecting from the inner walls of the ventricles. Okay, they are coming from inner side, not from the outside. Some of these ridges, observe here, I have drawn two very larger one compared to remaining. Okay, some of these ridges are large. Okay, these two are large compared to the and are conical in shape, cone shape. They are in cone shape. Okay, some of these are large and in conical shape. For example, this one. Some of these are large and conical in shape, and these are called papillary muscles. What are they? Papillary muscles, whose apices are connected to the caudate tendinae. Okay, to this is the apex. Apice means that is the plural word for apex. Apex is the singular word. Apex. Apices. Apex is singular. Apices is the plural term. Okay, the apices, some of these ridges are large and conical, and these are called papillary muscle, and whose apices are connected to some strings, some thread-like structures. These are called caudate tendinae or heart strings. A guitar has strings, like that our heart also has strings. Okay, these are called heart strings or caudate tendinae. Okay, okay. On the one side, they are connected to papillary. This is called papillary muscle. This is PM papillary muscle. One side, the caudate tendinae are connected to papillary muscle. What about the other side? Okay, I will show you that one. Observe this one carefully. You can observe here papillary muscles. Papillary muscle I am showing here. I showed you in the previous slide like this. This is the papillary muscle. And here if you observe the papillary muscle, over this one, what are these one? Caudate tendinae are there. Okay, these are the caudate tendinae. I will show you here. Held by papillary. These are caudate tendinae. Observe here. What is this one? Papillary muscle. I'm showing that one. This is the papillary muscle, and this is the apex of this muscle. This is the apex part. This is the apex. Apex, the singular word apex, plural apices. Okay, to the apex, what are attached? Caudate tendinae. Okay, these are the structures I have drawn now. These are the caudate tendinae held by papillary muscles. Okay, now other side, if you look at them and go upside here, they are attached to tricuspid valve on this side. And if you look at the left ventricle, and here they are connected to these are caudate tendinae. These are the caudate tendinae in the left ventricle. These are the caudate tendinae in the right ventricle. And here they are connected to tricuspid valve. Here they are connected to bicuspid valve. Okay, why should they hold caudate tendinae hold tricuspid bicuspid valve? Because during ventricular contraction, These tricuspid valves and bicuspid valves may bulge here, may go inside into the atrium during ventricular systole. To prevent that bulging of tricuspid and bicuspid, too much bulging of tricuspid and bicuspid valves into right and left atrium, and these are helpful. Chordate NA, that's about that. You have to study carefully this point. Some of these ridges, I have drawn here some ridges. Again, I am repeating this point again. Inner surface of the ventricle is raised into muscular ridges called column. Muscular ridges or columns are columnae carneae or trabeculae carneae, which coming from the inner surface of the outside, projecting from the inner walls of the ventricle. This is the outer wall. This is, but they are not here. They are not in the here. They are not here. They are here, inner wall. Some of these ridges, okay, here I have done, for example, 10 ridges. Okay, some of the ridges are large. This is large and this is large. Some of the ridges are large. And in what shape? They are in conical. And what do we call this larger one? We call papillary muscle. And the apex of the papillary muscle is connected to, apex means singular term. Okay, this is the papillary muscle. It is its apex. The apex is connected to chordate tendinae or heart strings. Heart strings like guitar has string. These are called, or heart strings. Okay, ventricles. Some of these ridges are large and conical, and these are called papillary, whose apices are connected to tendinae or heart strings. Okay, this point is also given in the previous slide. And they are cord-like. They are cord and cord-like. They are made up of collagen, cord-like collagenous process. Who heart strings are cord-like. That's why they are called chordate tendinae, umbilical cord. We are born. When we were born at that time, our umbilical cord was cut. Okay, these are called chordate tendinae. Okay, chordate tendinae are cord-like structures and daral and they are made up of collagenous process that connect. Okay, what are they connecting here? Clearly, I am showing here. This is the papillary muscle. And what is this one? What is this one? This is the valve. This is the valve. Okay, this is the valve. Okay, in between this one papillary muscle, what are present? Chordate tendinae. I will show you here. Okay, they connect. Chordate tendinae connect. They are connecting whom? Papillary muscles. They are connecting papillary muscles. PM. They connect papillary muscles to tricuspid wall. Okay, what is this one? For example, this is the tricuspid wall. Okay, in between this is the tricuspid wall. What is this one? PM, papillary muscle. In between these two, what are present here? These structures are chordate and are connecting tricuspid wall. Here chordate are present, and these two are papillary muscles and tricuspid. These two are connected by chordate tendinae. In that way, they are connecting those two structures. What is the why they are connecting? Papillary muscles are connected to white chordate tendinae are connected to tricuspid walls or bicuspid wall. They prevent the cusp from prevent the cusp from atrioventricular walls from bulging too much far into the atria during ventricular systole. They prevent the cusps from the atrioventricular walls. AV walls means the walls present between atria, V means ventricles. The walls present between atria and ventricles are called atrioventricular valves. Okay, these are atrioventricular walls. What are they? Tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve. Tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve. Okay, tricuspid valve and bicuspid valves are called atrioventricular valves. During ventricular systole, when ventricles contract, okay, at that time, okay, these cusps of tricuspid, these cusps of atrioventricular valves may bulge into far into the atria. Okay, that is prevented by this one. Okay, this point is very carefully you have to listen, otherwise you don't get it. Okay, during ventricular, this is a ventricle. During ventricular systole, here pressure rises and these walls close, this wall closed and this opening is closed, and these cusps of tricuspid valves or bicuspid valve may bulge too much into, they may bulge too much into the atrium. That too much bulging of tricuspid and bicuspid valves is prevented by caudate are holding them, they are not allowing them to bulge. Okay, that is the function of caudate teninae. They keep the valves in their position, they don't allow too much bulging during ventricular systole. Okay, you can see again caudate tendon here clearly. Okay, these are the valves, there are tricuspid valve, and you can see here bicuspid valve, and here there are caudate tendon. Here there are PM papillary muscles, here also there are papillary muscles. Okay, papillary muscles and tricuspid bicuspid valves are connected by caudate tendon. You can observe here also this is a cusp of our teeth. Our teeth also have cusp. For example, if you take the molar tooth also has cusps. The tooth also has, these are the roots of the tooth. These are the roots. And what are these structures? These are called cusps. Okay, like that our heart walls also have cusps. Okay, this is the cusp of tricuspid valve. Yes, it has three cusps. It is called tricuspid. And what is this one? PM, papillary muscles. The papillary muscles are connected to cusp, by which structures caudate tendineae. Okay, next one. Let's talk about arches. Look, you know arch. There are two arches over our heart. One, what are those two arches? Where do they arise? What type of blood do they carry? Let us talk about that. One is called pulmonary arch. The other one is called systemic arch. Pulmonary arch and systemic arch. Pulmonary arch arises from the left anterior angle of the right ventricle. Pulmonary arch arises. Okay, pulmonary arch arises from the left anterior angle. Okay, you can observe here. This is the pulmonary arch. This is the pulmonary arch. It is arising from which ventricle? What is this ventricle? This is the ventricle arising from the right ventricle. From the left anterior angle of the right ventricle. Okay, why I'm using the term left here? Okay, if you take this right ventricle, this is the right side of the right ventricle. This is the left side of the left ventricle, right ventricle. Okay, this is the right side of the right ventricle, and this is the left side of this right ventricle. Okay, where is this blood vessel arising, here or here? It is arising from this side. Which side? Left side. Okay, that's the meaning here. Okay, pulmonary arch arises from the left anterior angle of the right ventricle. It arises from the left anterior angle of the right ventricle, and its opening is guarded by valves called pulmonary valve. Okay, at the opening, okay, there are valves. There are valves. Those valves are called pulmonary valves. Here there are valves are present here. You can observe here pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay, this is a pulmonary. You can observe here. This is a pulmonary aorta. At the origin of this one, what are present? Which valves are present here? There are pulmonary. Okay, you can observe here what is this wall? Pulmonary wall. We say pulmonary wall, as they are in semi-lunar shape. They are called pulmonary semi-lunar wall. Where are they present? At the starting of the pulmonary aorta. Okay, that's about that point. Pulmonary arch arises from the left anterior angle of the right ventricle. Its opening is guarded by pulmonary valve or pulmonary semilunar valve, and it carries what type of blood? It carries deoxygenated blood. To the word pulmon denotes it is carrying blood to lungs. What type of blood it is carrying? Deoxygenated blood. On right side of our heart, right side we have deoxygenated blood. Now come to the another arch, that is called systemic arch. Okay, we have left systemic arch boards. I told you in the previous parts. I compared. You have learnt in the second video, I think. Okay, compared to study of the circulatory system of fishes, amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals. In that video, I told you boards have right systemic arch. We have left systemic arch arises from the left ventricle and transports what type of blood? Here this is deoxygenated blood, here oxygenated blood. It arises from right ventricle, it arises from the left ventricle opposite. To which part? It is carrying blood to oxygenated blood to different body parts through its branches. You can observe the branches here. This is the arch of aorta. There is arch-like structure here. Arch. It has three parts you can see here. Ascending part, ascending aorta. This is the arch. This is the ascending part. This is the arch. Okay, this is the arch, and this is the what is this one is the this one is the descending part. Descending part this is, and this is ascending part, and this is the arch. Aortic arch. These are the parts of the aorta. Here there are you can observe here left common carotid artery, and the carotid artery carries blood to our brain head part. Its opening is guarded by. At its opening, there are valves here. Okay, you can observe those valves here. At its opening, here there are valves. These are called aortic semilunar valves. They are present at the opening of this one in the left ventricle. Okay, that's about two arches. Let us see here difference between right ventricle and left ventricle. Right ventricle is smaller, left ventricle is larger. The wall is relatively thin here. The wall is very thickest walls are in the left ventricle. It pumps deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary arch. Okay, and it pumps oxygenated blood to the system or systemic trunk or aorta, which is the largest blood vessel in our body. Those are the difference between right ventricle and left ventricle. Okay, that's about the arches. We have two arches here. One is aortic arch, the other one is the pulmonary arch. Aortic arch it arises from the left ventricle, and pulmonary arises from the right ventricle. It carries oxygenated blood. Your left, this one carries deoxygenated blood. It carries oxygenated blood to body parts, and it carries deoxygenated blood to lungs. Okay, those are the differences between those two. Next, what is meant by ligamentum arteriosum? Ligamentum arteriosum. The pulmonary and aortic valves are made up of, okay, this is about valves. The pulmonary and aortic valves are made up of three semilunar flaps. Semilunar means Ardha Chandrakaram. This is one semilunar, and this is the another semilunar. And tricuspid valves and bicuspid valves both are three in number, both are semilunar valves. Okay, next point is ligamentum arteriosum. About this one, what is ligamentum arteriosum? If you see the diagram, you can understand it easily. A fibrous strand known as ligamentum arteriosum is present at the point of contact between, for example, okay, this is the systemic arch, this is the pulmonary arch. Okay, at the point of contact a place, look, there is one structure between these two. What is this one? Pulmonary systemic arch. What is this one? Pulmonary arch. At the contact of these two, there is one structure called, this structure is called ligamentum arteriosum. A fibrous strand known as ligamentum arteriosum is present at the contact. These two are contacting here at the point of contact of systemic And what is this one? Pulmonary arches are contacting. At the site of contact, there is one structure that is called ligamentum. Ligament, it connect. Okay, arteriosum. Okay, you can observe that ligamentum arteriosum here in this diagram here. What is this one? Okay, this is a systemic aorta. What is this one? Pulmonary aorta. At the point of contact between these two, there is a structure called ligamentum arteriosum. We have that one. But during the embryonic stage, when we were in the mother body, in place of ligamentum arteriosum, another structure. What is the structure you can see here? It is the remnant of ductus arteriosus. Ductus arteriosus, observe here. Okay, this is what is this one? This is the systemic arch. What is this one? This is the pulmonary arch. Okay, this is the systemic arch, and this is the pulmonary arch. Okay, in between these two, there is one structure. Okay, this structure is called ductus arteriosus. Okay, the blood from this part is coming to this part and blood is mixing here. Okay, this is called ductus arteriosus. Now we do not have the ductus. Now in place of this is the systemic arch. Okay, this is the pulmonary arch. It is closed here, and this is the pulmonary arch. At the site of contact here, now there is another structure, one fibrous strand. This is called ligamentum arteriosum. Okay, ductus arteriosus is a vascular structure that connects the main pulmonary artery near the origin of the left branch of the proximal descending. Earlier I told you aorta has three parts. This is the ascending part of the aorta. Okay, this is the aortic arch. This is the descending part of the aorta I told you in the previous slides. Okay, now at this point, okay, these two are connected by one structure called ligamentum arteriosum. Now our blood is not mixing because it is closed, this opening. In place of that, we have one remnant structure. This is called ligamentum arteriosum. Okay, it is developed in place of ductus arteriosus. When we were before, but we had this one. Okay, now we have in place of ductus arteriosus what is present now? Ligamentum arteriosum. Okay, that about, okay, you can see here ductus arteriosus. This is the aorta and this is the pulmonary artery, and at this point of connection there is a, okay, in some children it remains unblocked. It does not close even after birth. Okay, that condition is called ductus arteriosus. Patent ductus arteriosus. Earlier you learned there is foramen ovale. Okay, when I was explaining interatrial septum, I told you interatrial septum has a hole before our birth that is called foramen ovale. In place of fossa ovalis. In some people, foramen ovale does not close and it remains open even after birth. That is called patent foramen ovale. Like that, in some children, okay, it is not closed. The ductus arteriosus is not closed. That is called patent. If it remains unclosed, if it does not close even after birth, that is called patent ductus arteriosus. Okay, that's the end of ventricles. Okay, we in this part we learned to right ventricle, left ventricle, what structures arising from right ventricle, left ventricle, what are aortic arch, systemic arch, and pulmonary arch, and what are the pulmonary walls and aortic walls. Okay, we learned those things. In the next video I will talk about nodal tissue.